Sources, Crowny won't play with the team BDS and LC next year. Okay, why not? AD carry, shake-ups, the Serenity carry is not continuing. Decision comes in the aftermath of team's elimination from their worlds. This isn't the only change BDS is making. Yesterday we found out that head coach okay. Um we're gonna bench our best player. Okay. I think BDS knows what they're doing, guys. They didn't just bench their best player, but it's okay. Yeah, no, everything is under control over there. I'm sure everything's under control. In BDS, just magically bench their best player. Yeah. Yellow, they have everything under control. What can I say? How's Crowny their best player? He didn't show that at Worlds. Okay. Okay, let's just assume your logic here, yeah? So, by your logic, you only view a player's performance at one tournament where the player plays what? Like, how many games did they even play? 10 games? That's the only way you evaluate a player. You don't care about anything else, right? The entire year didn't happen. You only care about Worlds games, right? Which have a specific patch, which have a specific time of the year. That's the only way you view it, right? That's your logic. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't evaluate any player with that logic. Maybe you should just stay quiet and keep those thoughts to yourself. It's not a good representation at all. You've seen it over multiple years. You should not judge players based on only Worlds. Just look at DRX, for example. They just won Worlds. Are their players top tier? No. Definitely not. Look at all their players. They're not even the best at their role the following year. They haven't been the best in their role even at Worlds. So how is this even representative? I mean, it's really weird that the community's narrative is that Pioshik is not good, guys. But how? He won Worlds. How is that? How is that the narrative here? How? We should only look at Worlds according to the chatter in chat. Because that's the only thing that matters, lol. How do you determine the best player in the role? I don't know, man, by looking at BDS fucking games the entire year. Like, he just was the best player throughout the whole year. It doesn't mean he was the best player at Worlds. I just mean throughout the whole year, he was the best player in BDS. Pretty easy to look like the best player when Zari's meta. Yes, bro. That's why I think he was the best player. Because he played Zari. Yes. Player in I mean, no, BDS best players are Crowny's best player and Labro is the second best player. That's literally how BDS player rankings work. Their bottom was their best players. What happened to Adam? I mean, I don't know, like, how people don't realize that Adam is a big issue in BDS. Like, I say this, like, I understand why a Silver Public viewer doesn't see it as an issue because they only win when he plays his champions and they lose when he doesn't play his champions. But he is literally fucking over his team every single game by playing no TP top laners, complete random off-meta champions that work only in one way of playing, where they have to put so many resources towards those champions. He's fucking over the team every single game. I would not want to play like that. I can tell you. If I would be in that position, I would not want to play. But obviously, this is not. No, I'm not only I'm not putting here all the blame to Adam or something before people come to random conclusions. I also think there's a lot of other reasons why they're not doing well. He obviously does have some pop-up performances, but you know, all I'm saying is it's just stupid to view it as the lens of how people view it as the viewers. It's very stupid. If I was in that position, I would not want to play. I would not want to play with someone that plays only Ignite and plays Darius and Olaf. Like, I would not. This XDD. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing to say there. Game. He didn't play well in a single match at Worlds. What more can he do? I mean, Shio didn't play a single game well at Worlds either. Let's be honest here. In fact, low-key nobody did, but okay.
Skibidi bibidabadoo.
Why is it going up though? Stop! In the name of the Lord.
Yippee!
Nice.
Yippee! Finally, I am the PDF.
What?
It's so fun.
What did you just Dude, say in game, please.
No, not actually, not even in
Say
game,
in-game,
bro. Not
AD has bigger pool in Europe. Yeah, that's true. It does. But all I'm saying is, like, there's no consistency in Europe. Why was there like a narrative, okay? There was like a narrative a couple of months ago that Crown is the best ADC in Europe when they were like BDS was winning a lot, right? But then a couple of months later, they bench him. They also extended his contract. Like, how does this, like, nothing makes sense. There's no consistency. Like, just either, you know what I mean? Just decide one. Just decide what you want to do. They're just like, it's like bipolar what they're doing. Like one day they're like one day they're you know. It's just weird to me. It's result based. Okay. Yeah, I mean I agree. No, I agree it's result based, but all I'm saying is I think if you put any ADC in the same position, they're probably gonna look dog shit as well, you know. Or maybe not as much, but similarly. It's not going to magically make BDS be out of groups. You can put any European ADC there. BDS will still not go out of groups. They would still get shit on. Like League orcs, and this has nothing to do with Crown Shot, okay? League orcs are just constantly swapping out players. Constantly. Constantly. Like, one year you're there and everything might look just happy, and then the next day you're just out. They just shuffle rosters. It's like they play fucking like it's like a YouTube shuffle playlist. It's the same. They just shuffle all the rosters, all the players, just randomly all across the teams. Nothing makes sense. That's what they're doing. But listen, I would love to be proven wrong, so I will pay close attention to what's gonna happen next year, which ADC they're gonna place in that team. Yeah, assuming there's no other changes. If there's other changes, then I don't mind. We'll see what they do. But I will laugh if that's the only change they're doing. Because I don't think they're gonna get any different result. Maybe they should swap their mid lane for a certain 1.7k LP screen top there. Nah. Actually, I actually got contacted by them last year, and I said I'm available to talk, and then ever since then they didn't reply. It happens. One of those moments.
부지가 화가 나네요.
Look at what kind of replies I'm getting. Someone's still salty about getting kicked for being a fraud. Nice, man. Yoo-hoo. I love it. Nice. And then this type of reply, did you even watch Worlds? Why do you judge a player based on a tournament where they play like time games and it's the same patch and it's like the same atmosphere? Like, why? Everyone looked bad at Worlds. If you were to only judge players based on Worlds, how well they do at Worlds, like majority of players, you wouldn't actually even have them in LEC anymore. And just look at what kind of records players have from LEC at Worlds. They're all negative. Every player loses at Worlds. If you look at Mad Lions, for example, are you going to say their players are bad because they got shot on at Worlds? No. Because if you put any other orc, any other team that didn't go to Worlds, and you put them instead of Mad Lions, they would also get shot on. Like, congrats, guys. Western teams get shit on at Worlds, so why are we judging it based on Worlds performance? Nemesis, there were rumors that an LEC team contacted you this offseason. Was it a decent project or some Marshall W? I mean, what is there to say, man? I don't know. These players are calling me a fraud, but their favorite players are not going to do any better results-wise than I did. So I don't know. I don't know why they're calling me a fraud just because I disagree with their opinion. I don't know. If because I have a different opinion than they do. People get butthurt so easily these days. If you don't have the same opinion as they do, they just automatically wish the worst things on you. But you would maybe think that my opinion would hold some more weight because you know, maybe I used to be a pro player and I'm a challenger player consistently high on the ladder, and they're pretty much, you probably just somewhere in gold. I don't know. Who knows? Quank's Place, thank you for Twitch Prime. Like, it's really like, it's like the logic doesn't hold, okay? How do I say it? Like, the logic just doesn't hold when it comes to people. People will constantly judge players based on how well they do during splits, right? Then you go to Worlds, a team gets shit on at Worlds, they're obviously going to cherry pick which player they hate the most. And as an example, fuck, what was I gonna say?
At lol_Nemesis, don't listen to the haters, D.
Like for example in Fnatic, right? Trimby got a lot of hate for their last game at Worlds, okay? He picked Alistar into Caitlyn Lux and the whole social media went like, whoa, never pick Alistar again, this champion pool, he's so boosted, blah 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 blah, right? That's how people work, right? They remember the player by their last game. Okay, but are we going to not remember the other 10 months that we had in the season, guys? Winter, spring, summer split, we're not gonna remember any of that. Any playoffs games? None? No. We're just going to only remember the last game we played at Worlds. That's really cool. I mean, that kind of reminds me of my
don't
case.
worry about them haters, you have the right to your opinion.
No, it's not about haters, I'm just sharing my opinion. If people wanna listen to it, if they don't, they can mute the stream. But anyway. It just makes no sense. You can't be judging players constantly during splits, and then if they don't make Worlds, you forget about them, right? Just like no one talks about any of the players that didn't make Worlds. You make Worlds, and then people are like, only Worlds performance matters. What is that logic? So, tell me Twitch chat, okay? Tell me Twitch chat. If you have a player, let's say hypothetically you have a player that... Anyone? Fuck my life. Let's say you have a player, hypothetically, that hard smurfs every split, goes to Worlds and he's, let's say, second worst player. At Worlds. What happens then? Do you guys come to the conclusion the player just needs to be replaced, or what? I don't know. My brain doesn't work like that. My brain doesn't work like that. Is it better not to make Worlds as a new player? In 90% of cases, it only downgrades public opinion of you. You know what? You are 100% correct. You know what? You are 100% correct. I agree. I think if you don't make usually at least quarters, even if you make quarters, like look how fucked you can get. Even if you make quarters, you can get so fucked. But I agree, like, it's better to not make worlds, unless you actually have a chance to go to, like, quarters or semis, and looking like the best Western team. It's just better to not go to worlds, unironically, yeah. Just so you guys know, the money difference you get if you make worlds versus if you not make worlds is very, very little. In fact, you can probably even shim if you don't make worlds and get more money that way. So it's not even a money argument to that point. I think people are not very logical when it comes to discussions like this. I got support.
진심이야? 진심이냐고? 아, 너
Don't really have inside info, but man, how many times has it happened in the past years where a team benched one of their best performing players? It happened so many times already. Its basic statistics worse is based on a very small sample of games to judge players, teams, and the format doesn't always favor you depending on draws. Yes, there's so that's what I'm trying to say. There's so many things at Worlds that will not show you a full picture of who the player is, that you shouldn't judge them only based on Worlds games, and this is how people are trying to like defend this benching. People are trying to tell me, did you watch Worlds games? Okay, let's say I agree. Let's say I agree, even though I don't. Let's say I agree. He was the worst player at Worlds, okay? Even then, why are you ignoring everything before Worlds? The only time this year BDS was even close to relevant, it was because Crowny was performing Zari Jinx in Spring. I agree. They're like BDS in general never looked really good besides like what, one split in Spring. I think it's time to bust out my Lux. Pick Caitlyn, no? And we go Kate Lux and then we pray to God. Alright, I'm gonna play Lux. Pray to God over here. It is what it is. GG. Whatever happens, happens. I mean, I get it. Like, I kinda get it. Like, it might look like I'm defending him because he's my friend. Whatever. I mean, there's a lot of other people that agree with me. Crowny carried your team for being 1 win away from an LEC title, was in the top 5 LEC MVP candidates year round. Makes no sense. It's like people only want to look at Worlds. I don't know why. I Will Dominate is also Crowny's friend. I mean, guys, just because we're friends with someone doesn't mean we're not allowed to have an opinion. Like, I don't understand. I could also flip the argument and say you don't like Crowny, so your opinion doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't work like that, man. At this point, like, people should accept that sometimes a person can also put their biases aside and give your honest opinion. I think if Crowny is gonna play bad, I'm not gonna be the one who tells you he's not playing bad. I am not that person. You're not wrong, Nemesis, but also World doesn't matter the most because it's the biggest event every year. This is what it all comes down to, where it really matters. Okay, Taravao, I don't disagree. However, every team that goes to Worlds gets shit on. No Western team does anything at Worlds, really. So what is like? We can replace players, right? We can replace players all we want. Okay. But are you going to replace Crowny with someone that's going to do better at Worlds? I don't know. You tell me. We've had multiple years of Western players going to Worlds that keep getting shit on. So you tell me. It's not like we are replacing players to get better results at Worlds. We always get shit results at this point. The main point of replacing players is kind of to win domestically, no? Or am I wrong? I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong. That's at least how I see it.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
You tell me. No, B-Man. I don't know if the roster is going to stay the same. I don't know about that. I don't know if BDS roster is going to stay the same. I haven't heard about that. What I do know for a fact is that he's benched. Like a lot of people are saying, no, it's just miscommunication on the article. It doesn't state he was benched. No, he's benched.
Why does the West always lose?
I can tell
Is
you.
it genetic gap, training gap, or something else? You let's go Nemesis.
Hold on, I need to focus, but I'll answer this shortly. Give me a second. Oh, my bad. Fuck, buddy. There's so much fighting. What?